So I just got out of seeing Mortal Kombat 2 in theaters, and boy, do I have a lot to talk about. This is going to have some slight, well, no, it's going to have some spoilers in it, so just be prepared. Starting off, I will say I do think this is the best Mortal Kombat movie ever made. The bar hasn't been that high. However, the only contender that it really had, in my opinion, was the original 1995 movie. I don't think it's a hot take to say that Annihilation was terrible. And the 2021 one, I didn't enjoy that much. The whole movie felt like a setup to this movie. After finishing that movie, you go, what's next? What was the point of this movie? It all seemed like a prequel almost. But boy, did this one do a really good job at delivering. There was just enough fan service that you weren't rolling your eyes, and it kept you intrigued the whole time. You had no idea in this movie who was going to live and who was going to die, which was a welcome breath of fresh air. There didn't seem to be a specific main character in this movie, whereas the other one, you had Cole Young as the audience's character to really stick on, as the fish out of water. But in this one, maybe Johnny Cage, Carl Urban? It's tough to say. I'd say the only consistent main character was probably Shao Kahn. You could also argue possibly Katana too, but it's tough to really nail down who was the main character in this movie, which is a fantastic interpretation of Mortal Kombat. Now, in the games, the main character is usually Liu Kang. However, that's not the constant. Sometimes it's Raiden, sometimes it's Scorpion, sometimes it's Sub-Zero, but now everybody felt equally important to move the plot forward, and that also raised the stakes because, again, there are characters that just die that you wouldn't expect to die. Now, here come the little bit of spoilers here. They did kill off Cole Young, and I want to say that was because of the huge public outcry against his character. So that tended to piss off a lot of fans, in the same way that Devora did in Mortal Kombat X, where you introduce a new character and that character is strong as hell and whooping all the other characters' asses for no reason at all. Hands down, the best character in this movie, though, is the same as the first one in 2021, Kano. Kano absolutely stole the show. Every time he was on screen, it was an absolute pleasure and joy to watch what was coming out of his mouth. Kano is the stereotypical wise-ass, unlikable mercenary, almost like Deadpool, except he's got an Australian swing to it. And that swing is enough to make him completely original. I am so tired of the drawn-out Ryan Reynolds-esque comedy where it's just a sarcastic wise ass. But the way Kano is portrayed and done is so perfectly Australian that it is just, I was smiling ear to ear every time he was on screen. The things he was saying and the things he was doing made this movie from a 7 to an 8. Now, that's not to say this movie's without flaws. Shao Kahn was one of the biggest flaws in my opinion. In the beginning of the film, it's revealed that he beat 9 out of the 10 tournaments that is needed to move on. Implied that it was him, pretty much alone, who was able to do it. And he kicks ass on the king, Jared, who was Katana's father. And yet it seemed like he continuously got his ass kicked almost every time he was on screen, except for a MacGuffin. They used Shinnok's amulet to make him immortal. So every time his throat was slit or whatever, it just healed itself. I was thinking, how did he survive all this time without this amulet? It seems like everybody's kicking his ass. And let me tell you, if ass kicking is something you want to see, you are not going to regret seeing this movie. They went all out on the finishers and fatalities in this. Sadly, no babyalities, unfortunately, but the fatalities in this were just as brutal as you want them to be. They were absolutely dripping with blood and gore and guts and brains. It was fantastic. A little bit non-imaginative. It was your bare basics, we'll slice this guy's head in half and you could see his brains coming out, or throw this woman onto a spike and you could see it go through her head and through her eye. I enjoy the more imaginative ones where, Devora force feeds you 100 bugs and they shoot out of your stomach, things like that. But it was still really cool to see on screen, and there was a couple times that I audibly gasped at what I was seeing because it was so gruesome. Now, with all that being said, if you are a fan of Mortal Kombat, you will not regret seeing this movie. I recommend it. I give it an 8 out of 10. Absolutely amazing movie. So go ahead, go see it. It's great. If you like Mortal Kombat, you're going to love this. Even if you don't, even if you're not the biggest Mortal Kombat fan, I still think you'll get a really big enjoyment out of this. It was great. Go check it out, and let me know what you think if you've seen it in the comments below.